Hi, welcome to the first ever episode of The Stream PC. I'm your host, Aztegan. Welcome in my co-host, Sauce McSaucy. He is a Twitch streamer and YouTuber. And this is our other co-host, Lucky Bard Games. He's a Twitch streamer. This is The Stream PC, episode 1.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's happening?
What's going on, boys? So, this is a podcast for streamers by streamers. So, the three of us are streamers that met streaming. We all three of us stream to Twitch. I multi-stream to Kick as well, YouTube, TikTok, all that jazz. Lucky also streams to...
I do multi-streaming, mostly to Twitch and Kick right now. But mostly focusing on just Twitch.
And Sauce?
Well, I post videos onto YouTube and stream over on Twitch.
So super awesome. Again, this is a podcast for streamers. A lot of things that we're going to be talking about are stream related. Something we're super excited to do together. We all met through Twitch, was why this podcast means so much to us, and we're super excited to put it out to you guys, to the world. So I think really who started streaming first, I believe, was you, Sauce. You want to talk about what got you into streaming and why you decided to hit that go live button?
Sure. So I've been streaming now for going on 3.5-ish years. So it's been a minute. It was like right after the pandemic. So we were all kind of sitting at home, not doing a whole lot. I was playing a lot of video games, and I was like, man, this is boring. I want to do something fun. I want to talk to people.
What game were you playing?
At that time, I was playing a lot of Madden and PUBG. Those were my games. I was actually in some Madden leagues and everything. So I started off my streaming career streaming from my Xbox One directly to Twitch with a cheap little webcam that I got, like maybe a $5 webcam. I'm talking the worst webcam you could ever have. But I was in the camera. I was there.
Hey, that's more than most.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun time. Man, it feels like forever ago, but it's been a really cool ride. In the last 3 years, we've gone from that Xbox to, of course, now we have a stream PC, the stream PC, and I've met some really, really cool people, including these two goofballs over here. Which one of them didn't like me at first, but he'll talk about that later.
Who is it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's definitely not that guy who was just talking. But
Wasn't me.
All in all, it's been a great ride, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Even though my content's changed up, my name's changed, everything's happened in those 3 years. But it's all just been a learning experience. No one knows what they're doing whenever they first start streaming. No one knows what they're doing at this moment. You're just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. And my goal is to try to help some of you maybe learn from crap that I messed up on.
Yeah, for sure. And then next intro would be Lucky into streaming, correct, Lucky? And what got you to hit the go live button?
Well, to be honest, I was nervous to even start streaming.
Why?
It kind of hard to explain. It was mostly because where I grew up at, it was like playing video games. It seemed more childish than anything.
Okay, so like a thing of immaturity,
right?
Okay.
So like my parents were always like, you want to make money and go places, you need to go out, get a job, climb up the ladder, so forth.
Right.
But I've always enjoyed playing video games because it's like my escape from the real world, But one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check out this streaming thing. I got on Twitch. Actually, I started out on Facebook.
Yeah, you did.
Gaming.
Okay.
Facebook gaming was going around, so I was checking that out. I ran across some people there, and I was like, man, this looks really cool. You know, like he's playing the game, chatting with people, meeting new people, just hanging out. You know,
Right.
like
Okay.
making money from it really wasn't like my go-to at first. I just wanted to meet new people and just have fun, you know? And so then I was like, you know what? What's this other website I keep hearing about? I was like, oh, Twitch. You know, so I started looking at Twitch and stuff like that. And so then I figured out that my PS4, which is what I started out on, because PS4 is better.
Nice.
Oh, no. Team Xbox.
Sorry, brother. I'm Team PS4 as well.
Guys, let them hear you in the comments. Xbox, let's go.
Let's see it. Let's see who wins.
Let's see it. So PS4 straight to Twitch. I didn't have a PC or a computer at the time, and my monitor literally was on top of this nightstand. Like this was my desk.
Oh, the OG
back
piece of
then.
equipment. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
had one of those old like foldable food tables.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
whenever I actually got a PC.
The,
Like that was
the
where
dinner
my
tray or
mouse and
whatever.
my keyboard went. Yeah, that's where my mouse and keyboard went and everything, dude. Whenever I actually got a PC, but it weren't good enough to stream off of. It was just good enough to play like old school RuneScape. And that was about it.
It's a vibe.
But started out streaming on the PS4. I think the very first game I streamed, I started about roughly 2.5 years ago, I think now. Pushing 3 years. I think it might have been Assassin's Creed.
I was not expecting that answer from you.
I actually think it was Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I think it was either Assassin's Creed 3 or Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah, Unity.
Okay.
Big rips.
And and I figured out like how to like export that whole thing just like straight to YouTube. Like there's actually an old clip of YouTube of me playing like Assassin's Creed and everything that nobody's ever seen.
And here's a clip from that clip.
I've got an old Black Ops 1, I think was another one that I streamed.
That's what I
I
expected.
didn't have I didn't have a webcam or anything like that. I do have, I'm pretty sure I still have the old Black Ops 1 clip that I made back in the day. It was like just lucky shots, you know. But
And have you were you Lucky Bard games from the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was Lucky Bard Games from the beginning. It actually ended up being like a D&D inspired name.
Okay.
Because at the time I was playing a lot of D&D and Bard was my favorite thing to play, and the Lucky Feat was my favorite thing to use because DMs hated it. If you're a D&D person, you know why. But yeah, got on the Twitch, ran across a few people to start off with, but nobody that like really clicked with me, you know. And then I ran across that guy, this guy Sauce over here. Yeah, I ran into him, and I was like, oh, cool, you know. But I wasn't streaming on Twitch at this time. I just like did a little bit on Facebook gaming, and I just posted like one long clip on YouTube.
Okay.
And so I stalked. I guess Sauce likes to say the word stalked. I lurked and chatted occasionally. I think maybe once out of the 3 months that I was
Occasionally,
like,
one time.
I was like, this dude's so cool. Like, he's awesome. Like, you know, and I was like, I was mostly just learning. It was like a really big learning experience for me. You know, I was like,
So
man,
what were
he
what
does
were the
all
things? Yeah, what were those things? What was he doing right that you were learning when technically at that time he would have just been starting out as well? So what impressed you about Sauce where you were like, I got to learn from this guy? What was it?
Well, for me, it was like the environment was just the environment was nice. Everybody was always welcoming, and you can tell whenever a community is just like so close like a close-knit community. Everybody just jokes around with one another. Everybody's just having a good time hanging out, you know, and also, it's a good community whenever everybody, especially the moderators, are making fun of the streamer and poking at the streamer.
Yeah, they're famous for that.
My
But
moderators
yeah,
are
like
bullies, man.
So when we get
but
to
it,
my
it was
segment, I'll explain why I think it's hilarious that you found Sauce and thought he was just the coolest for a first impression.
mhm. But yeah, and that's how I ended up. I honestly, I want to say I messaged Sauce, and I was like, I'm thinking about streaming on Twitch. It's been so long ago, I barely remember it, but I think I messaged him, like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about streaming on Twitch," and like he gave me some advice and just said, just do it. So I was like, "Fuck it, screw
Mr.
it, I'm gonna
Inspiration.
do it."
Okay. Just to backtrack on that, Sauce, is there a reason behind the name Sauce McSaucy?
Yeah, actually. Um, so my last name is Jan. Big surprise. There you go. Dox myself a little bit. But a lot of friends used to call me Yum Yum Sauce.
Oh,
Whenever I was younger,
oh,
right?
Eh,
friends
Which
or dare I say,
no,
ladies?
just friends, right? So it was Yum Yum Sauce. Went to Yan Yan Sauce because that's my last name,
Mhm.
and that was my gamer tag for the longest time was Yan Yan Sauce. And in the event to not dox myself and tell everybody my last name, which I just did,
So
I
we're
switched
not
it to
editing that out.
I switched it to Sauce McSaucy. Um, but like I said, I've switched my names a few times, so it's Sauce McSaucy's like me
The
in
one.
general. It's
Yeah.
the name to rule them all.
I started um 2.5 years ago now. Um and I love telling my story. I think it's just one of the best moments of I think things happen for a reason. And I started streaming. My brother inspired me because he was like, "Man, you're so good at Call of Duty. Like you are good." No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I know that now. But we thought we were, and he just inspired me. He's just like, just do it, man. We went to Vintage Stock. He bought me this cheapo little camera for the PS4. Again, Team PS4 here. Um, and yeah, we plugged it in and I hit go live and I was just like, wow. And then at that time, I think I'm learning about, some bigger streamers. I can't even remember who at the moment. I think like PewDiePie and somebody else who was big at that time. I can't remember. I just watched them have so much fun and talk about how they did it for instead of working for a living and they were home all the time. And that's what inspired me was the idea that I could be home and play the game that I love, you know. So I guess you could say money did do a little bit of the motivation, but the idea of having my freedom and being home and being my own boss was really, to me, it was the pushing factor. But I was very unsuccessful for about 8 months, and I told my brother, I was like, "Man, this will be my last stream, dude." Or no, I was like, "I'm not streaming tonight. I'm not doing it." He said, "One more, just give it one more." He said, "Maybe somebody comes in and chats with you." I was like, "All right, this is gonna be my last one." And he's like, "Okay." So he created a fake account and was chatting with me for a little bit to get my confidence going. Um, and then as I'm about to end it, this Lucky Bard guy comes in with this raid, which I don't even remember how many it was, but it didn't matter. I mean, 2 or 3, and I was unprepared. I wasn't ready for what was happening. I was just like, oh my god, like I was freaking out, fangirling. Don't even know who this guy is. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Some big streamer just because as a person with 0 views constantly, I mean, I think he came in with 6 or 8, which is amazing, but
I think it was 6.
I think it was 6. And in my head, I'm like, I am making it right now, And he actually chatted with me. He introduced me to I Am Tune, who became my best friend over the course of like the next 8 months. And those two just pushed me to be where I am today, which is when you look at it, is just so amazing compared to that, streaming from the console, which I'm sure you two can relate wholeheartedly to. the difference in our content today versus when we started. And then he introduced me to Sauce McSaucy, which, as he mentioned and I mentioned earlier, my first impressions weren't great. And I think, and honestly, and I've thought about it a lot, especially for today, for the podcast. I think some of it was just jealousy. And I think it's the same things that, like you said, that's why I found it so interesting what you were saying. Is he had the sense of community. He had these people that were backing him 100%. And I'm like, why? He's playing a dinosaur game. Like, what's so cool about this? Because, Codhead over here, I think shooters are nothing, So I did think that. So I think it was just a lot of jealousy, but then also it was just like, I could feel how popular you were, and I knew that you knew it. And I was just like, I don't like this guy. And then spending time with Lucky, I just kept being around Sauce. And then, just like anything else that you spend enough time with, you slowly, fall in love with it. And you're just like, whoa, this guy is amazing. And then we got to talking, and I mean, here we are today doing a podcast together as some of the best friends that are out there.
Stockholm syndrome, I gotcha.
And then he figured out he was more of a douchebag. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I realized I was right.
Yes, but in a loving kind of way,
Yeah.
So Lucky says he was nervous to hit that like button. What a Sauce? Did you feel any of that? I mean, did you think to yourself when you bought that, awesome $5 camera that, was there anxiety behind it? Or is there any are people going to show up? Like what was going through your head when you were hitting that?
There wasn't really a lot of anxiety. It was mostly like, it'd be cool if someone shows up, but I doubt it's ever going to happen. So I'm just going to go live and talk to somebody if they come in. Cool. I've always been like a huge people person and super outgoing, and like that's just my personality. What you guys see from me in stream, outside of stream, I'm the same person. If it's me and Lucky talking, or me and Aztec and talking at like 4:00 in the morning, I'm the same guy as when I hit the go live button. I don't change. So I never really had an issue with like confidence. Sometimes I overthink things, but I think everybody does that, especially when you're streaming.
We all do.
Yeah. But as far as me being scared to hit a go live button, no, because the worst thing that's happened is no one shows up, or somebody comes in and calls me a fat guy. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't think I had any to hit the go live. He like I said, my brother bought me the camera and was just like, do it, man, you're good. He hyped me up so much. He had me thinking I was walking on to be like the next big thing.
He said, "You're Ninja."
Playing COD. Yeah, I mean, that was before Ninja, so it was just kind of cool to be like, or no, it wasn't before Ninja.
Nah,
it wasn't before Ninja. Right.
That was right in his heyday.
Yeah. Right after his big blow up, yeah. So to me, I wasn't paying attention yet because I wasn't playing Fortnite yet.
And then it became your main game.
Yeah.
I think me and Aztec started streaming right when like Mixer fell.
Yeah.
Right after that.
The death of Mixer. Yep. So yeah, I never had that, but I mean, as you kind of walked into and crept into just now, I think more of the anxiety happens today than it does or did ever in the beginning. Lucky, you're the one that was nervous to hit the button in the beginning. How do you feel about it now versus then?
I don't stress about it at all. Yeah, I got certain times hits. I come in here, make sure everything's updated and gonna work,
Mm-hmm.
and then just hit the go live button and go.
So for the new streamers or people thinking about streaming coming into this, you probably wonder, why are the two that weren't worried about it now worried about it, and the guy that was worried about it is not? So I think here's the difference: is Sauce is actually a content creator full time. This is his job. I'm technically full time with the amount of hours that I put in, but I'm not. I still have a normal day to day, 9 to 5, 40-hour a week job. So, which Lucky also has those things. But I think the great thing and what I get jealous of Lucky about is he knows that this is a hobby and he loves it. And if it blows up and he can do it one day, I'm sure he would.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's why I think me and Sauce get some of the anxiety, because I this is what I want to do, and this is what Sauce is doing. So we look at our numbers a lot differently than I think Lucky does. You know, Lucky can have a stream where there's 3 or 4 people in there, and if one of them's chatting, he's happy. You know, we have a stream like that, and we're both texting each other. All right, man, I'm falling off. What do I do? So I think that's also a difference, because you see a lot of new streamers give up and quit immediately. I mean, within months. And it's because kind of how I felt back then when I was going to give up was, nobody's here. I'm not getting anywhere. But I also wasn't doing half of what I'm doing today. I wasn't posting anywhere. I wasn't, you know, active on socials. I wasn't networking the correct way. You know, I wasn't doing any of that. So, and again, I think people give up before they understand what it takes to grow.
Oh, it's a lot of hours are put into this. A
Yeah.
lot of
100%. Way more behind the camera than is ever going to be in
on.
front of the camera.
Yeah.
Way more. Even whenever I first started, like I said, I'm a decent presence when I go into chats. I like to talk to the streamer. I like to do all that. I'm not a lurker at all. I don't, unless I'm literally doing something at the time, I am talking and typing and chatting and all that. So that was one of the big benefits that I had when I first started, was I already had started making friends on Twitch through other communities. So those people are already starting to come into my streams just because they knew who I was and things like that. So it made it to where I didn't really have that long to go from just starting to like somebody who was already like an affiliate and already starting to get, you know, up to like 10-ish average viewers, because I had already networked. But
Like
if you don't
unknowingly
know
almost,
that,
right?
yeah, like just because that's me. That's just how I talk. It's always about making a friend at the end of the day. And if you can make a friend, then that person, just because they're your friend, is going to want to come support you anyway. But you don't do it because you want them to support you. You do it because you want to make a friend, which
Right.
is something Lucky's really good at. Is everybody is
Naturally.
Lucky's friend.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like we joke and say Lucky's the favorite in the community because he's just that guy. Like he's a lovable oaf. He's a great dude. Well, I got to use the word oaf because we know some of these things. He's a great guy though. Now, Aztecan and myself, sometimes we come off a little bit different than Lucky does, and that's okay because not everyone is Lucky. So we have to work a little bit harder sometimes and actually do some of the other things that Lucky doesn't necessarily have to do. And as Tekken talked about it earlier, this is my full-time thing. So if I'm not making YouTube videos, if I'm not posting to other socials, if I'm not doing all these things, what am I doing? Like those are things that are necessary whenever you're trying to make this a career, versus if it's a hobby, then I don't necessarily have to post as much or do as much because I'm just going live and people are coming and hanging out, which is completely fine. And if that's what you want to do, perfect. If you're happy, I'm happy. But if you want more than that, you have to put in a lot more work than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot.
Another thing that probably helped me out a lot was for the first year that I streamed, like with anxiety of like pressing that go live button. Uh, for the first year, I didn't tell my parents or my friends or anybody that I was streaming. You know, and after a while, like I started posting stuff to Facebook. You know, so then everybody was like, "Oh, when did you start streaming?" You know, and then and parents found out about it and they were like, "Oh, you're streaming? What's that?" You know, like, "Oh, here we go." You know, like I was expecting like the talk, you know,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're wasting your time," you
Yeah.
know, this and that, you know. But surprisingly, they were okay with it. You know, they were, you know, they were all about it, all about supporting and helping, you know, in any way they wanted or any way that they could. But you know, it was that kind of got rid of that fear of like pressing that go live button for me personally.
Gotcha.
You know,
So do you think without your family's like acceptance of it, do you think that you would still have some of that Do you think you'd still be doing what you're doing now? Do you think?
I would be, but it would just make Christmas and family get-togethers a little awkward.
Right.
You know,
Gotcha.
because that tensions would be there.
Right. Right. So I think I just started not even 6 to 8 months ago, bringing that up in conversation when people say, "What do you do?" Like, what do you," when you're talking to another adult and they're like, "Well, what do you do for a living?" I've started adding that to my actual title. I tell them what I do for my 9 to 5, and then I say, well, and I'm also a full-time streamer, which is, I don't know why, but for the first year, it's like, I don't want to use the word shameful, but it was just like, I was ashamed to tell other grown adults that don't understand this world, hey, I play video games for a living. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, and I couldn't tell you or pinpoint a time of where I got the confidence to be like, no, this is what I am.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for any new viewer or anything like that, or new streamer themselves. But I think it just, one day I just kind of accepted, like, this is me. And I think you have to do that. I think if you're going to do this and you want to
Mhm.
make this a career, you have to be okay and open with what you are and what you're doing and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I think, I think that's maybe what did it.
Yeah, I think it's
Sauce.
definitely one of those things that you might not be able to like just wrap your mind around how to explain some of these things to people because not everyone knows what Twitch is. Not everybody knows what streaming is or why somebody would want to watch you play video games. But there's also full grown men, myself included, that watch people run around with a pigskin on Sundays.
Hell yeah.
That's acceptable, but watching someone play Fortnite's not.
Yeah.
Why?
What's the difference?
Yeah, why are you okay with the quarterback making $25 million a year and you're like, that guy who's playing Fortnite, how come he gets paid a living wage? Huh?
A hundred,
Huh?
100 million a year. Let's talk about that.
I mean,
there's a
it could be a lot. It could be a lot, but you
there's a
make a lot doing
handful of
anything,
those Fortnite streamers that make more than most of those NFL players.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It is. But to get up there, that's longer odds to do that than being an NFL quarterback because there's 32 starting NFL quarterbacks. There's a handful of Fortnite streamers that make that kind of cash. So
Yeah.
it, what I did with my parents, because obviously my parents always ask, "What am I doing for money?" Yada 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 yada
Right.
yada.
Right. It's their
I
job.
had to
Right.
resort to calling it like,
Yeah.
they understand what a YouTuber is. So you have to
Okay.
tell them, "Oh, I'm like a YouTuber," or things like that. And like,
Yeah.
"Well, I
Basically.
stream video games and I make videos, and that's how money goes into my account. Uh, and that's how bills get paid." So it's just one of those things. And my parents, they try to be supportive sometimes. When I was streaming on Facebook for a little while, they stopped into streams there. I don't think any of them have a Twitch account. They've never been on the platform. Um, and that's fine. Like, it is what it is. I have my brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters will stop in from time to time and say, "Hey, what's up?" But it's always nice. But I think one of the words that Lucky uses quite a bit is a gambling, which is your gaming family.
Hmm.
That is more important to me in having a support system of people that actually care about what you're doing
Right.
and know about it. Other than, of course, Mama Saucy, which is my beautiful, lovely wife.
Woo,
Uh,
Mama Saucy.
yeah,
Woo.
amazing woman. Uh, Other than her, though, the only support I have is from the community and from you guys. Like, it's not like I'm calling my mom and talking about streaming. It just,
Yeah.
she wouldn't know what to say. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to take that burden at 3 a.m. in the morning. So.
that's right. That's right.
But you do it for us too. So.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
So.
I know what you mean there. My parents recently just got a smartphone like a year and a half ago, so I
Oh
had to teach
wow.
them how to use it.
Oh wow.
They were still using the old school flip phones. Like my dad, he'll watch videos on Facebook, like videos will pop up on his For You page and stuff. And he'll still, even today, even though I told him it's not TikTok, he'll say, "Yeah, I watched this TikTok video the other day." I was like, "Yeah, it's Facebook."
That is so awesome.
It's funny.
That is funny.
They from the boonies, guys. They from the straight up boonies. That's all you need to know about the Lucky family there.
Yeah. So my sister is actually a streamer as well. Shout out Llama Luna. So she's a streamer. My brother did stream before I did, off of his console, and he actually did really well, which was so weird. And this is pre pandemic, so streaming really wasn't as oversaturated as it is today. I say that, but I also disagree with that statement because there was also less viewers. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I think maybe it was still kind of saturated. I don't
think
know.
the quality comparison was different then. Like you could have got away with a less quality stream than you could
Yeah,
now.
there was less expectation. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Now you got to
anyways,
have like a full on studio production.
yeah,
Right.
he would average like 4 to 8 people in there. That's why, after I did it for 8 months, I was averaging nothing. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm definitely better looking than that guy. I'm definitely funnier than that guy. And I'm way better at Call of Duty. So I was
And
like,
humble.
what? Oh, very humble, obviously. So those two are, my biggest supporters, obviously. And when I told my wife that I wanted this to be a dream, she immediately was like, listen, we have kids, there's no way. Shout out Lady Aztecan, by the way. And I was like, no, I'm not quitting my job. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I support you. It was a very quick decision after I said I wasn't going to quit the day job until I made a guarantee like this, which as older streamers we know now is sponsorships, not subs. So once I have a steady revenues from sponsorships and stuff that I would then I would consider quitting and stuff like that. So but as far as my parents go, my dad wouldn't understand any of this, period. He doesn't care about none of this stuff. So there's no real point in talking to him about it. And I would love to have my mom here, to be a part of the community, because she would, man. She would have been the biggest part of the community. Because before she passed, she was disabled. So she's stuck in a room all day. She probably would have been my number one mon. She probably been in the Discord 24/7 talking to everybody. She would have been a great addition. But I was so ashamed that I wasn't successful. I never told her I did it. I never got a chance to. Because I was like ashamed because my mom was like my biggest fan in anything I did, so she always was just like, oh, you're the, oh, my son plays football, he's the best. And I was like, no, dude, like I don't even start, and it took me a long time to get good. She would just, anything I did, she just thought I was the best. So I was ashamed. I was like, man, I don't have anybody in here watching, and in my head, and of course most kids are this way when they have their parents, is they'd be like, I don't want my mom just being the only person in chat talking to me. So I was ashamed because I knew she would be. I knew she would have supported the hell out of me, and she would have been in that chat every stream, the whole stream. So I was just like, I don't want to tell her I'm successful, and I unfortunately never got there. So I know I would have had her for sure.
She's proud of you.
I know she is. I feel it all the time. So yeah. So as far my dad, he don't care. As long as I got my 9 to 5 job, he don't give a crap. As long as his grandkids are getting fed, he don't care. so that is interesting.
And I do have to give a shout out to Nerd, because all the countless nights of staying up at 4 to 5 in the morning, learning how to run OBS, watching YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. She definitely had to put up with a lot of me during that time. And to be honest, she's still my number one supporter till today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the
I don't
person
think
that
any
helped
of
us
us could do that without our partners. So like
No.
it's a thing. Like you wouldn't have the confidence to do it. You would have not been able to do it without them. So
100%. I think not having them would be maybe a worse effect. I feel like maybe we'd stream 12, 18 hours a day and not make time for the things that we need to, live and content creation and stuff like that. We'd just overstream because we'd probably be trying to fill that void with streaming. Because like you said, this is a great escape. I mean, it is just, on a day I'm feeling bad, and I text these two, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna hit go live today. I'm in a bad headspace. I don't feel well, and they're just like, well, what's going on? And then when they realize I'm just down or something, they're just like, hit go live, dude. And it's so funny because every time that happens, it's one of my best streams.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes. I don't know why that is, but that is usually the case.
It's so weird, right? I just feel like it's like that whatever, that energy from the universe, whatever you want to call it, that's telling me I am supposed to be here and this is what I'm supposed to do, but not to give up. So okay,
Gotta keep moving forward.
exactly. So Lucky's first game was Assassin's Creed, most likely.
Pretty sure.
And what was your sauce?
Well, I had some Madden because I was in the league and they forced you to stream a little bit to be able to have people watch the game and make sure no one was cheesing or whatever.
Gotcha.
But my first like actual stream game where I was intentionally streaming was PUBG.
Okay, interesting. And then mine was Call of Duty, but it wasn't Warzone. It was just like regular Call of Duty, just multiplayer.
Which Call of Duty?
It would have been. What do you call me out like this, buddy? What was right before Black Ops 4? Was it Ghosts? What was before Black Ops 4? Because I attempted to do that on YouTube.
I bet you Black Ops 3 was before Black Ops 4. Just not in the right order.
They had Black Ops 3, but I want to say it was either Ghost or Advanced Warfare.
It might have been Advanced. No, Ghost came after Advanced.
Were you running around walls? That's how you know.
I don't remember the gameplay, brother. I don't remember that at all. But yeah, it was COD. The first BR that I streamed was Fortnite.
That's why you have so many skins and dances.
I am a Fortnite OG, but I'm terrible.
Actually, my first game on Twitch was Sea of Thieves, I believe.
So random.
I know.
Sea of Thieves. I don't think I've ever played that. That's the one.
It's pretty
obviously where you're like in the sea on a boat.
Yeah, it's the cartoon pirate one.
Yeah, it's kind of cartoony. It is cartoony. Pirates and stuff, but it's a really fun game if you got like 2 or 3 other. I think 2 other people that you can play with.
They got the corner marketed on.
So there's that
right now.
There's that new pirate game out right now that I think people have been playing. Skull and Bones.
Bones.
So is that is that similar to what we're talking about right now?
No.
Oh,
not really.
Okay.
I was kind of let down with Skull and Bone. I had a lot of hype because it's been in production for what, like 3 years.
Yeah, it's been in production a long time, and it was hyped up. And you can do less in that game than you can in Sea of Thieves. Like
Which
at
is
least in
older.
Sea of Thieves, you can fight something. Like melee is important in any type of game to me. Like I used to play Call of Duty where I would run around with some size because it was
Tonfas.
fun. Yeah, with Tonfas, size, Cali sticks, a riot shield, run people over with a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I get off on. That's what it's about. That's right. No pause.
No pause. No, wait a minute. Those were the good days. I remember playing with Sauce back in those days. He'd run around with them colorful size with the skin that he had on it. And I'd be like, where's Sauce at? And he'd be like on the other side of Rebirth Island. Just like, yep, I'm killing people.
I remember my first ever match with Sauce. Let's see if he remembers this as I'm speaking. I'm like nervous at this point still to play with Lucky, because at that point me and Lucky still weren't very close. We were getting there. We definitely hit it off, right away, but it was still like in my head, I'm like, I'm playing with a big streamer. I have to be my, P's and Q's. I got to cross the T's, dot the I's. I've got my aim's got to be perfect and my call out's got to be perfect. Like in my head, I was way overthinking it, not being an actual streamer at that point, because what am I being at that point? I'm being a Call of Duty player, not a streamer, so in my head, I was like, because he's putting on a production and a show, I have to do everything in my power, even though I'm live too, to put on a show. So I was so aggravated with Sauce because he jumps in a 4-wheeler and I'm like, bro, we're trying to sneak up. You're giving away our position. He's like, nah, it's fine. I can hear it. I can still hear it.
Exactly like
Oh,
that.
it had me
Yeah, I got
boiling.
it.
I was like, oh, I'm boiling. And then I hear, burp, burp, burp. I'm like, what is that sound? It's the 3-4 bodies dying. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, teamwork. I was like, with the 4-wheeler? He's like, oh, yeah. I was like, who is this guy?
It was great.
The good times of COD. They're so long ago now. Like, did you know in the new COD stuff, you can't even run somebody over with a 4-wheeler anymore? They can just mantle on top of it now.
Yeah.
When you're full speed trying to run them over, they can just mantle onto your 4-wheeler.
I did not know that because I usually
It's
try to hug a wall or something. I don't try to attack
mantle
it.
over top, man.
I guess I'm getting old as a Call of Duty player because I know you touch that thing, you're dead. Apparently not anymore. That's
They
interesting
took it away from me.
stuff.
Rude.
Well, maybe when Rebirth comes back, you'll get to jump on there again.
Yeah, get to try it out.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna stream it or
Okay,
make
that's
content
fair.
around it myself. But there could be some guest appearances on some places, maybe.
Hell yeah. I'm actually curious of how Rebirth Island's gonna be now, since we don't die as soon as we touch water.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that there's
You
not
would
a
just
whole
hang out in
lot.
the water.
I hope there's not a whole lot of water stuff. Like I hope the circles don't. I mean, because if you think about it, we used to be on the very edge of the map with like no land, and we'd be like, "Well, we
All
can't go
the
in the
time.
water." Now you could. And personally, in COD, I hate water fights. I always lose. So, it's not going to be a
I
good.
enjoyed the water fight.
So,
Embrace it.
I don't think they should go in and put the mechanics back to not allow us in the water, but I also am worried about them doing it, putting water in. I just don't want them to change the map itself because it was perfect. Perfect.
Well, it's never gonna be that again. It's not. I'm sorry to break it to you.
I wish somebody
But
would
this
tell us
company-
that we're in the good old days when we're actually
it's
in
gone?
them.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, with that company, I can almost guarantee that it's gonna be almost what you want, but then they're gonna throw something in it that's gonna be terrible.
Sauce is trying to sit here and tear down Call of Duty, but at least our company doesn't have arced it for their name.
Hey, they arc it all the time, and it's all right, man.
They arc it
We got
hard.
arced.
So for
But,
those of you,
you
for
know.
the viewers that don't understand Sauce, would you mind expanding on what arced it means?
All right. Whenever you get arced, it just means you got screwed over. So I play a lot of survival games. Ark Survival Ascended being one of them. I used to play a lot of Ark Survival Evolved before they became the new one. But in that game, anything can happen, right? So you could be taming something, like let's say you're taming a giant flying bird and it lands in water and then drowns. You got arced. You can't control where it lands. Terrible place. Happens. You walk around a corner, you see a T-Rex and you die. You got arced. Just stuff be stuffing sometimes, you know?
Stuff be stuffing.
And stuff be stuffing. So it's kind of like COD timing for us.
So that would be COD timing. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think every game has their little saying for whenever something crazy happens or something bad happens to you.
Madden cheese.
Yeah. Well, I think Madden's a little different because instead of it just being Madden cheese, that's people literally exploiting a game mechanic and using it as much as they can.
And they don't fix it. They
won't. They don't care.
They make money.
That's what Madden
Yeah,
is.
they
Madden
don't
is
care
a
at all.
money printing machine. MUT is made to make money, and that's all they're going to care about is making new cars, making more money.
Facts. Yeah. So I'm glad that we brought up Ark and what you do. So expand on your content, Sauce, as a creator. So you play Ark, obviously you're making YouTube. So what exactly does your YouTube content consist of?
So my YouTube content consists of multiple Let's Plays at the moment, based on survival crafting games. everything from new releases like Enshrouded and Nightingale, which just came out in the last couple of months, last week for one of them, to Ark Survival Ascended, a little Minecraft, things like that. We also were focusing on some of the survival news, like the center being postponed. Thanks, Wildcard. Appreciate that one.
Arced it.
They arced it hard,
Arced
man.
it.
Arced it hard. But that's kind of what we're focusing on over there. I try to post 3 videos per week on one on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, and on Saturdays.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly focused around survival.
Lucky? You just doing the Twitch thing now, or what are you doing to progress your Twitch career?
Mostly multi-streaming. I started multi-streaming a little bit more now to Twitch and Kick at the same time. I try to post the TikTok whenever I actually have time in my day-to-day throughout the week. For anybody that's just starting out, especially if you work a lot and you've got family and stuff, finding time to make content will be the biggest struggle. At least that's how it is for me personally. But I kind of stream a little bit of everything. I play survival games with Sauce. I play shooter up games with Aztec and COD, Nightingale, Cowbuds. Yeah, I'm just kind of really just all over the place. I'm willing to give a game at least 2 hours, no matter what it is, and then I decide if I enjoy it or not. To be honest,
I feel like that was a shot at me.
Also,
I feel like that was a shot at me right there.
maybe a little bit.
It's definitely a shot at you.
Lucky also does this
Overwatch.
cool thing, right? Where he will hyper fixate on a game for like 3 weeks, right? And play it nonstop for 3 weeks. And if he's still playing in week 4, that's whenever we start looking to see if we're actually willing to play it or not.
Yeah. Yep. So I say that was a shot at me because Mr. Bard over here, what is the game called again?
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch.
So
Yeah.
when Overwatch 2 released, it was free. I believe it still is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's a free to play game.
So Lucky is super excited. He's like, hey man, like this, I grew up playing this kind of game. Like I love it, dude. It's a shooter. I think you would love it. Like, let's tackle it. Cause me and Lucky collab weekly on games. Honestly, as much as we can. So I'm like, yeah, man, I got you. I'm down. I'll download it. I've never played the first one, but I'm down. And how many matches did I give it, Sauce?
Maybe 3. Maybe.
I think it was 2.
Might have been 2.
Live on stream, I decided this ain't for me. This is not for me. And I uninstalled it. And the whole time I'm doing it, Sauce is over there just dying in the chat, just laughing, just and Lucky's locked into a match and he's just like focused. He's like, "What are you laughing at?" He's like, "He deleted the game."
We were mid game. He deleted it mid game.
I didn't have a single kill. I was like, F
Did
this.
not like it.
Oh man,
Great
I was like, yeah,
times.
he'll. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, he'll like it. It's a shooter up game. Like, there's different characters. Each character has their own certain role to play.
I think
I was
that's
thinking
where you lost him.
I was thinking Soldier 76. Like, that's the most like COD related character on the game. He'll love him. It's like 2 games in. Like, where's Aztec Sauce? What are you laughing about? He deleted the game live. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, it was over. Had no chance. That's
and then
That
made
is,
a TikTok on it. Like,
that is one of my
so
favorite
bad.
TikToks all time that I've made is me deleting it and Sauce
man.
just dying in the background. And then he tells you and breaks the news to you, like you can hear the heartbreak in your voice, but he's still laughing. Like it was just one of my favorite clips I ever made. But speaking of, yeah, so along with these two, I stream on Twitch as well. But I'm trying to tackle a whole different monster of multi-streaming to many platforms. Every stream we stream to Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok. Uh, we've recently been trying to integrate Instagram. I did not realize that it was against TikTok TOS to stream to Instagram
Yeah.
at the same time.
Uh-huh.
I did not realize that.
Kind of
So,
like Twitch used to be for like YouTube and stuff.
Yep. So we've been trying to find some other ways to do it. We were doing Facebook back in the day. I gave up on that. I don't know. Personally, my experience was, Facebook is dead as far as traffic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so I do that. I post content, 3 to 4 times daily as far as shorts goes. That's part of my arsenal of, my idea of attacking streaming and trying to grow myself is like, I'm going to make the internet know my face. I'm going to make them know my name. And it's worked to some extent. I mean, I've gotten people, some of my strongest community members right now, or I should say most active, that were just like, I got so tired of seeing your face on TikTok. I had to come in and say hi to you and see what you're really about. And you're awesome. I love you. And I'm just like, it worked. Kind of like that annoying guy in school that's just like trying to bug you every day to be your friend. That's my tactic.
So you're annoying. That's the tactic. Got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. The making content, like he was talking about, for new streamers, making content might be the hardest thing that you have to be able to make time to do so.
That's what it was.
Which
Yeah.
I completely agree, because when you're a new streamer, you're not going to have people in there that are constantly clipping your content. You're going to have to go back and watch your VODs, look for things, or better yet, set up some quick action keys. Even if you don't have a stream deck or anything, you don't have to have anything fancy. You can literally make it directly in OBS where you press one button on your keyboard and it'll go ahead and make a clip for you. Or if you
Mhm.
have an Xbox, you see this beautiful share button right there? That beautiful share button will let you take a clip right there. I'm sure PlayStation has something as well. Maybe not as good because it's a PlayStation, but it's got
I don't
something,
know.
right?
The controller
just-
looks a lot cooler though.
It's just got 3 little dots. It doesn't say anything.
Regardless, it works. So while you're playing, actively make sure you are streaming as if you are making content. That's the best advice I was ever given, was stream like this is all going on to TikTok or all going on to YouTube, like you're editing nothing out. So always stream like you're talking to 1,000 plus people and making
100%.
content every single second. Is that exhausting?
Absolutely.
Absolutely it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if you take advantage of all the time that you have, finding clips is going to be a lot easier than having to go through hours of a VOD where you had one cool shot that you hit.
But I think, especially in the beginning, but it's still something I utilize today. But while you're going through your VOD to get your clips, you should also be studying you and
Yeah.
find if, obviously you should be your number one biggest fan. So you're going to
Mhm.
naturally be a little biased, thinking that your stuff is great, but you should also look at it from, who do you watch currently? And are you enjoyable to yourself? Because if you're finding yourself getting bored going through your own VOD, it's a big red flag right there.
So I agree and disagree. I agree that you should be able to watch your content and see what you're doing wrong. But I hate my own content. I hate the sound of my voice. I hate a lot of things that I do. That's because I have a problem, and my problem is that I want to be perfect and I
Right.
want to be so much better than I am right now. So I'm so hypercritical of it that I just can't sit back and enjoy what I'm putting out, because I know that what I'm putting out right now is going to be trash to what I'm putting out in 6 months.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
garbage
funny.
content, right?
Yeah. And I love
So
that
you're
feature.
saying it.
Go ahead.
You're saying that it's easier to give advice to someone else watching what they do versus watching yourself and then trying to,
For me, yes.
right.
For me, it is. That's why
I can understand that.
rely heavily on other people's feedback. Like, I ask questions to my moderators before I post something. I'll ask you guys, which are both moderators, the same thing. Like, I'll ask you guys, does this make sense? What did you like in this stream? What didn't you like? What can I change? What can I do better? And if you're not continually trying to get better, you're not going to get better. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
And if that's fine for you, that's fine. But it's not fine for me. I'm not that person that can sit there and do the exact same thing.
No,
every
yeah,
single day.
100%. I agree. And I think it's good to have friends like these two, which are hard to find, is have somebody that's going to be honest with you. You know, if Sauce shows me something, I intentionally, whether I like it or not, I'm trying to actively look for something because I know what his goals are and I know he's trying to be better. You know, I love the guy, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is great, dude. You can't have somebody that tells you that all the time because then you're not going to grow. You're not going to get better. Sometimes you need us friends that are going to be like, listen, dude, that sucks, man. Like, that's dry, or that's way too cringy, or whatever the thing is that you do.
You got way too much going on in the background.
Yeah. Which I was super proud of a video one day and I was just like, this is perfect. And I literally kind of expected praise from Lucky and he tore me apart. He was just like, there's a lot of pauses in here. You have zero transitions in here. It's kind of boring. And I was just like, okay, well, there goes my pride out the window. But it's what I needed to hear. And since that day, I mean, I make sure I look at those things when I post a video. I mean, it's something that's in a good way permanently scarred me, where I'm like, I look for those specific things that you've told me. So, but that's
a big
what
difference between like friends and like people that you got your back that want you to succeed.
Right.
Because a friend's going to be like, oh, that was great. But someone that's literally like, I don't care if I hurt your feelings when I tell you this.
Yeah.
Like, that's you're going to have your feelings hurt in this. This is what it is. This is a career choice that you're trying to make, especially Aztec. And lucky you're not trying to make it a career as much. Like, I know that if it happens, it happens. It's awesome.
Right.
So I'm not going to be as harsh on telling you something as I would if I was talking to Aztecan, because Aztecan wants this. Like, that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to clock in and go work on the roads or whatever he does, right?
I hate it.
He messes with the waffle.
But you are completely fine doing your electrical stuff, which is great. Don't get electrocuted, please.
Passionate about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you love what you're doing, and that's great. And you're planning on owning your own business eventually doing that. So I would be a lot more critical with Aztec. And like, if you guys showed me the exact same piece of work, like let's say that you had a COD video, he had a COD video, I would be so much more lenient on Lucky's than I would on Aztecans right now.
Right.
And that's not because Aztec is my favorite or anything, because neither of you are my favorite.
Yeah.
You're both all right. No, you're both
all
cool.
right.
But I'm not going to invest as much time and energy on one if they're not as taking it as serious, you know? Not that you're not taking it serious or anything, but
no, I completely understand where you're coming from.
No, the annoying part is you're so natural at it, you don't have to try.
I mean, I'm very nitpicky when it comes to things. I'm very particular. If things had to be a certain way, if it's not, I will tell you, because I don't know if I'm OCD. I don't know if I have anything. I might be. Like, I have things that have to be a particular way, and if it's not a particular way, it bothers me. So,
yeah,
that's what makes you, brother.
Exactly. And just to build on what you said, I mean, 8 months ago, I posted TikTok and I'm like, this is perfect. I love it. I can't wait to show everybody this. And it comes around for whatever reason. And I get to see an older clip today. And I'm like, no wonder I didn't blow up. No wonder this only got 200 views. This sucks, dude. So yeah. So having that ability to critique yourself and grow is so amazing, because a video, even like today, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I just shit posted today. I put 2 videos out that I didn't think were very good, but I want to make everybody sick of my face. I could put those videos against what was a really good video 8 months ago, and these, because they're just so much better edited wise and quality wise, would just knock those out of the water. So I think that's funny that you said what you said. But the part that I was taking from what Lucky had said originally about, if you're newer and you're finding time, is to make sure that you're not over obsessing, because it's super easy to do when you first start out, is to just want to go all in and think that if you spend, zero time with your, wife, kids, or whatever you have at home, girlfriend, whatever it is, friends, and you go in, 3 months of just straight grinding, and you think you're going to blow up. But I hate to tell you that most likely not going to happen. And you're going to feel really bad that you missed all that time with your family. So I think that's the big deal. What I was taking from what Lucky was saying is just,
Yeah.
you got to make time, but you have to figure out what appropriate time you can make.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everyone's time is different.
Yeah.
And it's trial and error starting out.
Yeah. And everyone's different. Like, my situation's completely different than you two. One of you have like 11 kids. The other one has 1. I have 0. So my time is literally, I spend time with my wife and I do content. That's it. I don't have anything else I have to do that takes precedent over that. But you guys both have full-time jobs that you're doing, so you're going to have a different allotment of time. You both have children that you got to take care of. You both have wives as well. So it's all finding a balance for yourself and what you can actually do. If you go 110% into streaming right away, which, by the way, news break here, or newsflash. Streaming is not the best way to grow your stream.
No.
It's not. Like, Lucky will stream most of that's what he does, right? And he'll tell you that's not the best way to grow your stream.
It's not.
Can it work? Not. It can. But
Eventually.
Is it likely? No, it's not likely. Like, if you're streaming with 0 people in your stream, you can sit there for 8 months, like Aztecan said, and be on the last day before you give up, before you get that raid.
100%. And I think it's so funny, and this is gonna sound backhanded, but I don't mean it to. Lucky, he gets on my nerves because he never posts a TikTok, and he seems to just stay right there with me and Sauce as far as numbers go, everything. He's just like right there, and I'm just like, how? He's not networking. He doesn't, But I think that's kind of the charm of it. Is you posted a video yesterday or day before yesterday, I can't remember now, and
yesterday, I think.
I feel like I've seen everybody from the community in some form or fashion send it to me themselves or like it and comment themselves, because everybody's so excited. They're like, we've never seen Lucky. And then I'm like, hey, I post every day. Yeah, we're tired of it. So I just think that's super interesting. But when I really look at it, because I ask myself all the time, why is Lucky so successful other than, you're super great and bubbly? And I think one of the greatest weapons that you have, which we also have, but
bubbly.
I think you are.
You're a bubbly boy.
If I was to describe you to somebody that didn't know you, bubbly would be like the number one word.
Top 3 words for sure.
Even when I know,
top 3.
Even when I know you had a terrible day at work and you're tired and you didn't have the energy to go live, I go in your stream, and if I didn't know that information, I wouldn't be able to tell. So you're very bubbly. But lost my track of thought here. Is your Discord. You've made a place for people to call home to chat and respond, and I think that's really your biggest weapon, and how you get away with not having to post to socials, because they know where to find you when they want to.
I think what Lucky does is he networks like crazy. Like, he doesn't post much, right? But he's always somewhere. Like, he's in somebody's stream talking to somebody, doing something. And it's not always the same person. It's just random people that he just randomly finds in random places. I don't know how he finds them, but he finds them.
I honestly, like, I'll be working and I'll take my phone out, as long as I'm in a place that has good signal. I'll take my phone out and I'll just browse. I'm like, hey, let's take this person out. And I'll talk to them, and I'll be sitting there putting in a plug, working, and they're sitting there streaming. And I'm just chilling and lurking in their stream, and I'll talk to them whenever I can. I do that while I'm at work,
which is the way to go.
And that's the difference. I'm actually making TikToks at work.
Back in the day, and sometimes I still do whenever I can. I used to be in Sauce's stream all the time whenever I was at work. I'd comment on them, hey man, chilling at work under a house right now currently.
Spiders, oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. It's like, hey, look, all right, don't die.